Hey guys, and welcome to All the Mods 9 Progression Log 20. We hit the big 2-0, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Can't believe we've been here for a little over 5 months at this point, but I think we're getting close to being done. However, we do have the one big progression thing I would love to talk about, and that is the bees. We're done with the bees. We finished it. We got it. It works. And then let me tell you, would you guys like to see just how good it works? It works real good. We have 155,000 tungsten dust from the bees. It's fantastic. I'm so happy we have this now. I'm I don't have to we don't have to wait for tungsten anymore. We just have lots of it. I think honestly this is probably more tungsten than we've collected from the miners over the rest of the playthrough. I don't think we've had anywhere near this much tungsten from the miners. The miners just don't pull that much stuff out. They're really slow. It takes like a full because like I said last time, tungsten's the bottom layer, so it has to go all the way down before it'll hit tungsten, which is like a week. It takes like a week of playtime or something like that. It's crazy. I really hate it. But now that's no longer a problem. And we're only running 22 Bs. You can go up to like 30 or something, and we have enough to go up to 30, but it doesn't really matter. Would you guys like to hear a funny sound though? Okay, I'm gonna pull that. So it just whispers, and that like kind of like made me thought I was losing my mind a little bit because I was watching a YouTube video and stuff, and I was turning on, and then I heard whispering, like really soft whispering. The voices are getting louder, and it turned out it's just the apiary with a really weird active noise. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, we have this apiary running, and let me tell you, this was expensive. Way more expensive than I thought it was. So it was 4,500 for the apiary, 4,500 dragonic dust for the apiary Mark II, and then like another like 5,000 or some shit for all the productivity omegas because it requires them in order to work. So we had to do a lot of grinding, but an AFKing, as you can see over here, this is much larger than it was before. Um, but we got there in the end. I had to. There was a couple of like preemptive setups or interim setups. Like over here, we had. So in order to get chronic dust, there's a bunch of ways you can process combs. You can process combs, the comb processor, which is what I was doing at first, and you get 30% chance of draconic dust. So heated centrifuge is the same way, but for a block, and centrifuge is the same chance, but for an item. However, if you use the create mixer with heated, you get a 70% chance of the draconic dust, and this was worth it. So we were running all our combs through. I had two mixers set up here. I removed them because I didn't need them anymore, by the way. And then we were just running them through that and getting all the dust and stuff. And then once we turned this on, oh man, it was so much faster. It took like 30 to 40 minutes to earn enough dust from this setup here with all max tier bees, by the way. All max tier dragonic bees, so very high production metaneural. Hello, spooky ghost. I wished you would go away. It's November. It's not October anymore. It's no longer spooky month. Um, anyway, so it took a long time, and these things all had like speed and productivity upgrades in them too. One thing to keep in mind is there are the simulation upgrades or the productivity upgrades higher than beta. Don't work. I couldn't whenever I put them in there because the simulation upgrades are supposed to prevent the bees from actually physically exiting the hive, and you have to put like the feeding slab in front of the hive or the block in front of the hive, and it didn't work even when I did that. So don't use them. It doesn't work. Anyway, so once we had this set up, I still was running the Dragonic Combs through, or, well, I stopped. I had it running for a little bit, but with the Dragonic Combs, this was really fast. The reason why I'm running this in block, so when I was running the Dragonic Combs, actually, I was running them by the individual items, even in the comb processor. I was running them at first at single, and then it was not fast enough. The comb processor wasn't fast enough, running them one at a time. And then it was four, and then like I was running at one point I was running a stack at a time. Because you need a minimum of 4 productivity upgrades in order to run it, and the more productivity upgrades you have, the more bees you can run at once. So we had 22 bees in here, but we were only able to run 5 at a time, and then the more productivity upgrades we got, we were able to get like here. Let me show you. So you can see, depending on how many productivity upgrades, you can run a certain number of bees. So at 4, you can run up to 5 bees, all right? And then you go up to 8, and then I think with 8 you can run like 9 or something. Where is it? I guess with 8 it's up to 8. And then you go up to 12, and you can run more and more, right? So you get faster and faster. You can run 15 at 12, and then at 16 you can run 20. So you get more and more and more combs as you get more and more productivity modules. Um, so as I got faster and faster, I just gave up trying to run them, one by one or 4 at a time or 16 at a time. At one point, I was running a stack at a time, and it was barely able to keep up. And I was doing that by having a simple compacting drawer here, having this output bus dump straight in here. There's a storage bus underneath, and it was automatically decompressing the Dragonic combs into the items. However, it doesn't do that for the tungsten combs. Probably, I don't know why. It didn't work, and I was thinking about like, oh, could I make like a complex, crafting system? And then I realized, well, if I, make like a little corner area over here and then put a crafter there to decompress tungsten comb blocks into tungsten combs, it would likely be the only thing that would be here, and then it would be another like empty corner, and I'm really tired of empty corners. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So I was like, well, is it even really worth? Sorry, is it even really worth spending all that time to decraft it? And the answer is obviously no. So I just like, whatever. It's so fast. We get 10 stacks of tungsten comb blocks every 16.2 seconds. And we have more tungsten bees. Not these ones. We have them somewhere else. We have more tungsten bees. We have enough to run 30 at a time. And 30 would be a lot. Let's see. Tungsten comb block. We could see how many that would be. I am actually kind of curious. It would be, I think I did the math last time and it was like 40. Oh, you can run up to 32. We have enough for 32, I'm pretty sure. Is it the highest? Yeah. And that is 127, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So like 20 stacks, right? 18, yeah, okay. Yeah, around 20 stacks of tungsten comb blocks every 10 seconds, every 16.4 seconds. So that's a lot. I don't think we need that much. We already have more tungsten than we're going to be using in the near and long-term future at this point. I don't think we need to really run these tungsten bees anymore, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway because it makes me happy. I'm so happy to have so much tungsten, guys. We're living large. We're rich. We're rich. All right. That's all I had for that. Playtime. Well, playtime's next up, and it is 21.87 days, which is like 430-ish hours around that mark. Well, it's almost 400. It's almost 22 days, which would be 20 times 24, which is around 430 days. Or 430 hours. 530 hours. Sorry, 530 hours. Ish. Man, we've been here for a long time. There are very few games in total that I've put 500 hours into. And I've put over 500 hours into a single Minecraft world. I love Minecraft, guys. I know I've mentioned this before, but I really do. I've been playing modded Minecraft for over a decade at this point. Actually, probably around a decade at this point. When was FTB Unleashed? Because that was my first pack. 1.4.7. That was my very first pack, and that was good. Man, we've come a long way, guys. Can you? I do want to just ramble on a little bit before I start talking about some other stuff. To people who come back, or people who first find this channel and decide they like this series and they decide to go back and they binge the whole series. What's it like, just to watch this base grow rather than week by week, month by month, but in the space of 2 or 3 days, 4 days or whatever, how long ever it takes you to binge the series. What's it like watching it go from, the hub area, this, you know, just like the basic storage area, like where we're just building out the farm to the point where we're reworking the reactor. Like, do you guys remember that? You know, when we rebuilt this reactor over here, like, you know, someone had built for me a bigger reactor over here, right? The small one. And then we expanded that one to the chunk. And then I tore that one down in favor of the mechanism reactor. And then I had to rebuild the mechanism reactor again. And now we're on fusion power. Like, you know, we've done a lot of stuff. And part of me is kind of like, oh, the base has always been in this state, right? Because I've looked at the state of this base for like a month, right? It's been like this large for quite some time. But, you know, what was it like? Like, you know, like we just got our first EBF, guys, or we just started GregTech, woohoo, you know, or, you know, we got our first EV, you know, energy hatch, you know? Like, oh, don't worry, guys, you know, like remember when ore processing was garbage and it was just like a bunch of single block machines? We've come a long way, guys. Like, really, it's been fantastic. And man, ore processing still kind of looks like trash. And now that we're probably not gonna run the miners anymore. Oh, actually, I take it back. We will need to run the miners. I know I said we weren't gonna, but we do need to run it for the platinum dust. You know, platinum sludge dust, platinum group sludge materials, I should say. Tetrahedrite, bornite, pentlandite, chalcopyrite, sheldonite, chalcocite, and that's it. I think sheldonite is used for tungsten though, right? Sheldonite? No, it's not used for tungsten. Oh, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of scheelite. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, so yeah, we've come a long way, and you know, it must be really interesting to see someone you know, come into the series at this stage or later, and binge it all in, you know, a day, a couple days, and then watch the base grow in not quite real time, obviously, but you know, and far, far faster than it is for, you know, me and for those who keep up with the series every week. You know, because I've been here for a long time. You know, for me it doesn't grow in like rapid chunks like it does for some of you, right? Because you guys every week see it, you know, come on and see like, oh, there's this big change and this big change, and you know, it's more granular growth. Whereas for me, it's more organic, slower. You know, it's because like I said before, there's also like lots of things I don't really show because it was like, oh, one machine added or like one upgrade added to another machine somewhere. Like over here, I added a liquid tin alloy and the tin alloy dust, and this is on passive now. I upgraded some mixers over here, for example. These were all IV1s or EV1s, and now they're LUV1s. And this one was originally tungsten steel, but I swapped this one for tin alloy and moved tungsten steel to a ZPM mixer because it was slow, and I didn't like it being slow. So you know, there's always like little stuff like that, right? Where I've made tiny changes that aren't really worth showing up on camera, either because it's like one machine or because I forget. I forget lots of things when doing this. I don't script these videos. I just kind of hop on, record them, and then, you know, fuck it, we ball kind of things. I do want to mention that I built a second fusion reactor. Another slime ball. We have more fusion casings right now. Oh, fusion glass. How much of this stuff can we make? Oh, not that much stuff. Really? We only have 512 beryllium ingots? Can I make 25? I can. Cool. You can use someone told me in one of the comments that you can use fusion glass in parts of these fusion multi-blocks. It makes them a little bit cheaper, and apparently they look really cool. We'll have to see what they look like. So I built the second one. This one also is going to be for duranium. I'm not going to turn them on until I have the one set up for tritanium, and then I'll turn these ones on, and then tritanium will be turned on, and then we can really start making some good stuff here. What else? There was something. Oh, I know what I want to mention. Over here, the same person who told. I'm sorry, I deeply forgot. I forgot your name. I'm deeply apologetic, but you're very cool. That's the same person who told me about the fusion glass. It's been very helpful. Very long comments about GregTech. Very much more experience. It's been super helpful. You want to know why Radon is quicker than the JEI says it is because of something called perfect overclocking. And so Radon. So normally how overclocks work is when you upgrade the energy hatch, it's 4 times the power for twice the speed. But LCRs are perfect overclock, which is 4 times the power for 4 times the speed. So in order to actually see how fast the LCRs are, we shift right click for perfect overclock, and we go up to UV, and you can see it's 0.15 seconds, which is 3 ticks. So there we go. That's why that's faster now. Mystery solved. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else that I wanted to mention? Oh yes, the star room. Over here. I didn't set this room up. Cosmic set this room up for making the GregTech star. Well, the ATM star and the Patrick star. It's on a subnet, and we have to feed it the stuff. We feed it items, and then it will automatically produce whatever it. This will automatically produce Patrick stars, and this will automatically produce ATM stars. As you can see, we have 10. She's been putting them in here when we have 10 of them. So we have 10 Wither Compasses, we have 10 Oblivion Shards, we have 10 Creative Essences. We can actually check in here and see that we have 9 more because there's 1 in the inventory each. So we still have lots of other stuff we have to put in there, lots of Vibranium, like lots of other materials and stuff. We need, actually, apparently just short of 1 million Nether Stars. For all this stuff, so that's gonna have to get set up at some point. Just spam more Wither models, honestly. I'm gonna hopefully get that done sometime soon. I don't know, I have a bunch of stuff I have to do today, which is why this video is gonna be a little bit early. Also because daylight savings time, so I woke up like an hour earlier than I kind of expected. This is just part of the to feed the crate stuff over there. I like this. It looks really cool. I like this little warehouse style. Yeah. Every time Cosmic builds something new, it makes me really want to, do some more building for the base. And I like this base, but I also dislike how I have set up portions of this base, of how it requires a lot of, like, how the base has to be completed in order to look, good, I think. And that's kind of a problem with GregTech bases, is they're always in a state of change. You're always pulling machines out. There's very few setups that once they're done, they're just kind of done. And like ore processing, for example, is one of the examples of this. Like, I could rebuild portions of this to make it better. Like, this could be rebuilt here, but it works, and I don't really want to work. So I don't really want to, rebuild it for something that, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And it's definitely not broken. So I do just need to do more deco work in general. I specifically really hate this area too, where it's like half torn out, but I never really felt like moving how I was moving, processing, sheet like tungsten, so that'll have to get done at some point. Will it get done? Probably not, if I'm being honest. I might just pack it up, make it look nice, and then just call it a day. There's lots of places in the base like that that could look nicer. Oh, I did pull the assembly lines out of here. I moved them to the assembly over here, assembly yard. I tried to order some emitters last night, or it was a sensor. Hold on. I tried to order a sensor last night, and it didn't work. Like, it's supposed to go in here, and it didn't go in there, and I don't know why it's not working anymore. It's got power, it's online stuff, so this is something I'm gonna have to figure out later. It's a what? Oh yeah, it's at UV. So I've been moving them over here. I'm gonna be building more and more of them. You can see I built this chunk last night as well. I've just been chaining the databanks. They're not like duplicated patterns. I've just been chaining them underneath. You can see I just chain them with the optical cables. Hold on, I can show you. There you go. So they just get chained across, and then this one will get chained over there. It's how they share data, so you don't have to, scan a bunch of things. I love the shrinking gadget. It's so very helpful. One thing is, oh, there's the fusion glass. It's done. I know, like, over here for the computer processing, they have, like, the network switch. That's what this pad is for, by the way. Because in order to do, like, the research station, like, for example, ZPM Energy Hatch, this requires, computation of, some number. However, none of them seem to have anything. Oh, let's see. This one actually is over 16. Most of them have been like you don't really need. I've yet to hit a point where I needed more than one of these computers, or one hasn't been enough. Um, Maybe that'll change soon. It seems like some of the recipes require a lot more than just this one computer, so I may have to upgrade this one and then combine them. But I haven't really needed to do that yet, and I've had this thing for how long at this point? 3, 4 weeks? I don't remember. It's been a while. Um, so yeah. I built the second one far before I needed it to, and far before I could even use it either. You have to get the network switch before you can combine two of them, and so I have to. And that requires apparently 32 computer computational units a tick, and this one only does 16. So I have to replace these things with more active cooling and things. Hopefully I can figure out how to do that. And this is actually really fun multi-block. It was fun to build, fun to supply. I do wish I could figure out a way to make it look better in this chunk, but when going into this run, I always knew that aesthetics were going to be kind of a side note. Like I haven't even a lot of these watchtowers or these overlook towers are just floating. I have to actually put bases on them, but because oftentimes like the bottom of the legs is beneath like the layer beneath what you can see from the district, I just kind of forget that they're not connected until I'm like flying over, and I just teleport everywhere with the travel anchors and the staff of traveling, which is definitely something you guys should do if you have a large base. It's very nice. Also, you can just teleport through blocks with it by shift right clicking. That's also very helpful. Like a fun fact, did you guys know the apiary is hollow? Here, I can show you what's inside of it. We're with the bees now. There's one little flower in here. Anyway. Let's see. Is that everything I wanted to show you guys? I did, hold on. I know I talked about the ZPM clean room at some point. I'm sure I talked about that last week, but I just checked that off my list last night. I think this originally was going to be for straight ZPM stuff, and I was going to build a third clean room for the sterilizing clean room, because you do need a new tier of clean room to make like bacteria. All this stuff has to be in a sterile clean room. This is all for like the wet boards, the next tier of circuits, which has been something I want to been doing for like 2 weeks, but you can't make the sterilizing clean room filters until you get tritanium, which required the fusion reactors, which required more tungsten, which required the bees. So now that we're done with the bees, we can build more fusion reactors, which means we can get to the sterilizing clean room, which means we can get to all the other stuff for the wet boards. I love Greg Tech. I love this rabbit hole that's closer to like a bottomless pit than an actual rabbit hole, but it's fun. But so I think I'm gonna replace these filters with the sterilizing clean room filters, and then just use this room for the sterilizing stuff, and then eventually rebuild this clean room for ZPM. I don't really want to rebuild it for ZPM. It's annoying. But whatever. It is what it is. It'll take me like an hour, and then it'll be fine. Oh, uranium, rhodium, dianoxide wire. Alright, this is the ZPM superconducting cable. Alright, well, I think that's probably about it. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff I have to do. You can check through the list. Lots of this stuff has been on the list for like 2 months. It won't change. Alright, guys. Well, that's about it for me. I had a good week. It wasn't too busy. It was less busy than I expected it to be, but next week will actually be busy for real. TM. So I don't know how much stuff I'm going to be able to get done next week. I have an exam and lab work I have to do. I actually have a bunch of stuff I have to do today. I'm sure I have so much stuff I have to do today. It is what it is. I hope you guys have had a good week. Hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you all again next week.